addition since I've started working there is the pavilion. That pavilion covered space helped so much because we weren't really having places. We had picnic tables that we would drag across the garden and chase the shade when we were taking our breaks or when I was doing instruction. And so, but the pavilion has allowed us to have a spot to host community groups. We've been able to hang lights from it so that we can meet at night. And we want to do some more grant writing so we can add some permanent lighting and also do those wall drapes like they do at restaurants so that you can have, make it more multi-season. All right, so here is the biodigester. When the one we ordered came from Israel, and so you can use garden waste and you can save it, and you can buy the equipment where you can also have it operate a little small cook stove. And then it also has a valve on the back where it creates a byproduct fertilizer. And so the upfront cost is a little like, but if you're somebody who's having to constantly buy fertilizer, you could be getting rid of waste and making fertilizer at the same time. All right, composting is a super big deal in our program. We always have them go in. We get the materials that we need from the community. We've even told the kids, hey, you drive on the way here and somebody's got a bag of leaves at their curb. That is not stealing. That is, you're benefiting your community. It's volunteer work. And so we have had students bring bags of leaves, and it's really funny. My son will be like, hey, I saw a whole bunch of leaves at the other side of, and so it's funny that that's kind of, but then the acreage of the actual community garden is big enough that we don't have to worry about sourcing twigs or branches or anything like we need that. But one of the fun things that I want to mention is I never imagined that building a compost pile would be so much fun. But one of the things that is like a student engagement tip is they name each pile. And they're hilarious. Octavian, would you please share some of the names of the compost piles?
I named one of the first compost piles. His name is Larry.
Larry the compost. We've got a Felicia right now.
And a
Starkeisha. We had a student whose name was Porter, and so and his little brother named the compost pile Porter Potty. And so who knew that would be such a fun thing for them, but they love it. So we've done some things with Extension, and they've brought their programs and shared them at our location. And so our native plant class was very well attended. And then we want the kids to realize that, like, now that you are comfortable with growing some things, you can do this in your backyard. And then this is some of the stuff that you can do with what you've grown in your backyard. So, of course, the smoothies went over great. And the kale chips did. But especially a favorite was the tortilla pizzas. And then Mackenzie did the soup in the fall and the sauces. And so that's all been really, really fun with our students. And as far as, I've taken data, but on the things that would be hard to take data on, we can talk about attitudes of students. We can talk about how their parents, stay after when they come to pick them up, tell me things, change in behavior from beginning. Because we've had some students that have been with us for a year and a half, which I think that is the kind of data that can actually speak to the how effective the program is. Because if it wasn't working, those kids would not continue to show up. And then we had one kid that was like, he liked it, but he might want to do a different after school program. And his mama said, no, you're going back to the community garden. And so it's the other thing that I want to talk about is how it's not just one type of kid. We've got city system kids. We've got county kids. We've got homeschool kids. We have kids that I know when they're asking me a question that 20 IQ higher point than I am, and I'm like, what am I going to tell this kid that made like a perfect score on his ACT? But it's all over the place. But we work in cooperation with other organizations. They know that this is going to be valuable on their scholarship applications. There's more scholarships that have been available because of their participation. And the after school money, because it's not education budget, it's DHR, like Betsy had mentioned. So that DA, everybody thinks it's elementary after school program. It's little kids. It is available K-12. You just have to apply for it. So let's see.